Hey guys, welcome to RC Heli Check UK. I'm your host Rob, and this is a new YouTube channel, and one I thought I'd create because everybody seems to be doing it, so I thought why not give it a go. And as the title says, RC Heli Check UK, this is a video YouTube channel predominantly on RC aircraft and helicopters. They'll be doing videos on reviews for models, builds that I do, refurbs that I do, but I've asked a few people have asked me, I should say, to produce a build video for something that I've been working on now for a couple of months. It's been in the pipeline, and it's only been sort of like the last month or so, due to ill health, that I've started cracking on with it. And it's generated quite a lot of interest on the old social media, so I thought why not use this as the start of my first video. It's going to be more than one video, to be honest, within this series, purely and simply because I can't do it all in one go. It's a complex bit of kit what I'm doing, but it's going to be really enjoyable and it's going to be a lot of fun. So I think the best way of doing this is to show you. Here it is. This is the Harrier. This is a project that I'm working on with another member of the club. We are building two of these, and there are two different versions. There's a stall version, short takeoff and landing, and there's a VTOL version, vertical takeoff and landing. This one is a VTOL version. Now, both the aircraft are pretty much similar in design. They're both the same size. It's not a big aeroplane. It's only got a 900mm wingspan, but it's powered by 5 EDS, which we'll get to in a minute. But yes, this is it. This is a 3D printed aircraft. It's been designed by a guy called Rene. I'll send you a link, or I'll show you the link to his website soon, and his YouTube channel. And he is the chap that developed this aircraft originally. He's very much into VTOL and building models in a VTOL configuration, and this has become available to download and build yourself via a 3D printer. Built from lightweight PLA. There's still bits to come for this model. I'm not actually 3D printing it. The other club member that's building the other one, he's actually 3D printing both Harriers, but he's currently away on holiday. So I'm currently waiting for other bits and pieces to finish this model off. But here I've got the basics. I've got the wings. I've got the main sections of the fuselage. I'm still missing like the canopy, hatches, the jet nozzles that go on the side as well, the vector nozzles which actually work, a few other little bits and pieces, the mounts for the undercarriage, the main undercarriage, and so forth and so forth. But that's the actual model. We'll go a little bit more into that in a second. But this is everything that's got to go into this model, and as you can see, there's quite a bit. I've not unbagged everything because I didn't want to. I'm not going to unbag anything until I need it, but I'll give you the basic rundown of what we've got here. That's a combination of servos that I'm going to be using. I think, if I remember right, this aircraft actually takes 11 servos, 2 for the flaps, 2 for the ailerons, 4 for the jet nozzles, 2 for the outer wing nozzles, 1 for the rudder and 1 for the elevator. Now I'm going to set mine up differently because in this configuration there's certain things that I'm not going to need. Like, for example, I could probably do this without the aileron servos and the flap servos fitted, because this is going to be a VTOL model. The main control is going to be coming basically from the fans that will be fitted into this section here on the wingtips, and on the nose there'll be a 50mm fan in that, and then on the rear section you've got that bit there which has got a 50mm fan in as well. The main fan, which is the 90, that fits into the front of this for obvious reasons. But like I say, I'm not going to probably put the servos in. I'll put the wires in for the servos, for everything else needed, but I'll actually probably leave the servos off the ailerons and off the flaps just to save weight, because they're only really needed for the stall version, because this one's not actually going to be hovering. They're not an integral part of the aircraft when it comes to hovering it. Everything is done by the nozzles from the 90mm fan and from the 4 nozzles on the wings and on the nose. But anywho, let's go through what we got. These are the servos. Again, they're not expensive ones. They're Metal Gear servos, but they're not expensive. Now, because the nozzles on the VTOL version do not need to really move that much either side of 90 degrees, I can get away with using a standard 90 degree servo, standard servo, directional wise. However, they recommend the high-tech MD65 servo, and it's pretty difficult to get out of at the moment. So I'm probably not going to use that for now. Mike, with the other Harrier, he's going to be trying to find something alternative, or those if we can get them, because they can be programmed to rotate practically 360 degrees. So to get the nozzles to move in 45 degree angles, or just over 45 degrees, you need these servos. But because this is predominantly a VTOL aircraft and will spend most of its time hovering and not actually transitioning to forward fly, I only really need the nozzles to move like 10 to 15 degrees either way. So I can get away with positioning the servo with a normal servo and positioning the nozzles that way. So that's what I'm planning at the moment. These are what provide the lift. We've got 5 EDFs here. We've got the main 90mm EDF that has to produce a minimum of 4 kilos of thrust. Now they recommend the JP 90 because that produces 4 kilos of thrust. However, this here, that's a free wing, excuse me, that is an old free wing fan that I've got, and that's a 9-blade fan that runs on 6S, and that also produces 9 kilos of thrust. Now the fan blade is the normal glass reinforced plastic that they normally use, but the outer casing is metal, so it's heavy, but it's not as heavy as a JP fan. So I'm kind of hoping I'm going to reduce a bit of the weight by using that one fan, but I'm still going to get the same thrust. The 50mm fans, they are the motors and fans that they recommend. These are the QX fans. That's a 50mm fan that produces 5000 kV. Oh, there we go. That produces 5000 kV from that motor. So I've got 2 of those. One goes in the nose, which fits really nicely in there. The one that goes in the nose, it's got the lip moved. I've got to remove the lip from around the side for it to sit in there. And then the other one goes in the rear section, but I think I might leave the lip on that, the intake ring. But they do come off, they come off quite easily. And then these are the ones that are going in the wings. These are QX 30mm EDF fans. These produce 7000 kV. They're going to be pretty loud, but they produce near enough. I think it was 250, 300 grams of thrust, which is all you really need for the wings for it to keep the aircraft stable. 50mm, they produce, I think it was 950 grams of thrust, so they're quite powerful, they are. So that's the fans that we're going to use. There we've got all the necessary, there's different lengths of extension leads and Y leads and whatnot. They're going to be modified slightly. We've got extra cables there. These are the retracts, these 2 here, they're the ones that we're going to be putting in the wings. They're for the wing retracts, and then you've got 2 main ones there for the main double wheel retracts, and then the front nose wheel retract. Those are the wheels, obviously the smaller ones are for the wings, and then the 2 main ones there, and then the front nose wheel. ESCs, we've got 2 20-amp ESCs which are for the 30mm fans, 2 50-amp ESCs which are for the 50mm fans, various connectors, blah blah blah. 2 packs of male connectors. I need those because we are using a KK2 flight controller for this. So I just bought 2. I'm probably not going to need that many, but got a couple of packs there. This is the bit that is going to be the interesting part. That's the KK2 programmable multi-copter control board, and that is what actually provides the necessary means to stabilise the Harrier in flight. There's more software that's got to be added to that, but we've got all that ready. We just need to download it and add it to it. This is the later version. This is not the original KK2. There was another one that they developed that had the LCD screen built into it, but this is the next version of it. It's exactly the same thing, but the only difference is that you program it with this. It all works in the same principle. That is then connected to this board, and then you program it all through that. So that's going to be the bit that comes later on after the build. This is the receiver that I'm using. It requires at least 9 channels for the Harrier. I've gone for the Spectrum AR10100 telemetry receiver. So I've got 10 channels from this, but this has got a built-in vario and altitude meter in it, so I'll be able to tell how the higher the aircraft is and whatnot. But there's various other cables that you can use for RPM and that kind of thing. Now, for the free-wing 90mm fan, I have at the moment got a hobby wing 130 amp ESC, which is more than enough for that fan. But I'm looking at getting one of the Avion 130 amp Spectrum ESCs, purely and simply because I can connect this receiver directly to that ESC. So as well as having the telemetry from the built-in altitude meter and whatnot that's built into this, plugging this into the Avion Spectrum ESC, smart ESC, will give me everything from temperature, battery temperature, RPM of the fan, which is all this stuff which is going to be critical when it comes to flying this model, or hovering this model as it's going to be in this case. So I'll probably be getting that at some point in the future, and that's it. So I've got to squeeze all that into this. So that's the basic about the Harrier. That's basically all the equipment that we're going to be using. There's a lot there. The aircraft weighs a complete, the VTOL version I think weighs 3.8 kilos when complete. The 90mm fan will be looking at probably a 6S4000 for the 90mm fan, and then you have a 3S4000 which powers the flight controller that operates the 4 fans that will be going on the outside of the aircraft. So that's basically everything for that. There's a lot there. It's going to be a big project, this is, guys. I'm not going to lie, and I'm looking forward to it. I've never done anything like this. I've always wanted a Harrier. It would be nice to have a Harrier at some point that will transition from hover to forward flight, and then from forward flight back to hovering and landing again. But at the moment, this is a start. This is a prototype for me. This is the beginning. I'm starting off with this VTOL Harrier, so we will get vertical lift from it. We will be able to stabilise it in flight and control it in flight. We should be able to move it forwards, backwards, yaw it left and right, and take off and land vertically. The only thing that will be coming at another point, or maybe another project, will be the transition to forward flight. Still under development, like I say, so we don't really know how we're going to go with this. But between the 2 versions that we're building, with Mike doing the short takeoff and landing one and me doing the VTOL one, then hopefully we'll be able to come up with a combination, along with the guys that are developing this aircraft, to be able to have a fully working Harrier that can transition from vertical to forward flight and back to vertical from forward flight and land. That's the target, that's what we're aiming for. It might take a while, it's going to take some ups and downs, but this is a very big step, because this has been a proven design and it already works with this equipment. The only thing that's different that I'm using is a different 90mm fan, but it produces the amount of thrust that we need for this aircraft, which is 4 kilos. So with everything that I've got here, there is no reason why I cannot happily, guys, get this Harrier hovering, and that is going to be the target for this first project. I hope that you follow me with this, because it's going to be great. It's going to be really interesting, and I will go through everything with you when I do this. I don't know how often the videos are going to be uploaded. I'm going to try and aim for at least one a week with progress on this build, and we'll see how we go from there. But I mean, look at this. That's 3D printed. I mean, who would have thought that something like that could be printed on a printer? But this is incredible. It's had to have a bit of work done to it, like tidying up with like the infills and supports and whatnot. One of the things I've been concentrating on a lot is this ducting. Those of you that fly ducted fans know that a clean, very smooth outlet and jet pipe behind a ducted fan is a must, because you'll be surprised how much thrust you can lose if the ducting is rough and there's got turbulent air passing through it. So I've been trying to clean that as best as I can. The rest of the aircraft, the parts have been coming up really nice on that. You've got the old infamous nozzles intakes with the flaps that suck in and out when the aircraft's like hovering and whatnot. No, we've got nothing like that. This is just sort of like how they are, but they're going to help increase the amount of airflow going into the fan. It's a massive thing when it comes to EDS. The amount of air being sucked into that fan determines how much air you get pushed out the back of it. So they're all going to help with the amount of air going into it. But again, it's another nice design, and this whole model, when it's put together, looks brilliant. I've still got bits to come, like I say. The wing isn't 100% scale. On the VTOL version, there's probably no reason why a 100% scale shaped wing could not be printed out. But I think for the flying side of it, I think it's 20% extra wing area on the aircraft to help make it more stable in flight. But I mean, it still looks the part. I mean, when it's together, it really does look good, and I can't wait to get this together and get it going. I mean, I'm hoping it's only going to take a few months to do. Fortunately, or unfortunately, as in my case, I like I say, I'm off ill at the moment from a heart attack that I had. So I'm recovering from that at the moment and waiting for treatment. So I'm taking the time where I've got to relax and keep myself calm, finding projects to do, and I thought this would be a perfect time to be able to come along here and build and start building this Harrier. So this is going to be the project. This is going to be my first set of videos. So let's hope that you follow along and enjoy it. So that's it for the first video, guys. Sorry it's not very long. It was always going to be like a basic introduction as to what I was doing, and just a quick brief view of everything that I'm going to be needing to use to make this Harrier possible. I hope that you do follow along, and I hope you've enjoyed this short video, and it sort of like feeds you for the next venture that I produce. Like I say, I'm going to try and produce at least one video a week if I can. I do not emphasise enough that I am still recovering. I've got to take it easy. I have my up days and I have my down days, but I'm going to try and make it as enjoyable as possible, as informative as possible, and I hope that you, like I say, follow along with me and enjoy the progress of this build. But thanks for watching. I do appreciate you taking the time out to view this video. It is, like I say, my first. You're gonna have to bear with me. New to all this thing, so the way that these things come out, they might not be brilliant, but as long as you can follow me and watch the progress and enjoy it, that's all that matters. Do click the subscribe button, and click the old ding-a-ling-a-ring-a-ding thing bell as well. That way you'll be notified of any new videos or uploads regarding this project when they happen. Appreciate you watching, guys. I do hope that you'll follow me in the future, and that's it. So thanks from me, Rob. This is RC Heli Check UK. See you next time.